There's honestly many things that schools leave out of our curriculums, things that are not just essential to our survival, but things that teach us how to thrive in this world. Cartoons were never just cartoons to me. They were quiet teachers, slipping me lessons about God, love, and myself in ways that school and grown-ups never could. Hello cuties, welcome back, and if you are new here then hi, I'm SHAE, and we're just gonna dive right in. When the thunder gets loud and the rain starts to pour, I love pulling out those things that kept me dry and warm when I was just a girl. When it felt like the lights would never come back on, when I thought I had used up all of my magic again, those silly little cartoons brought me sunshine. I feel like a lot of the shows we watched as kids did a beautiful job of playing the role of the jester in our world. You see, even though jesters were there to entertain the king, they also spoke truths most people were afraid to admit. On the surface, we see cartoons and think of children, unwise newbies who ought to enjoy their innocence while they still can. But most cartoons aren't innocent, are they? There always seemed to be a joke that a trusted adult would laugh a little too hard at that I simply didn't get, tucking lines within scenes that we watched later when we were a little older and could finally let out that laugh of understanding. Yeah, I've honestly been an animated TV show or film over live action kind of girly, which is why live action remakes genuinely make me kind of sad. Like, it sucks the magic out of it. If I wanted to see everyday life, then I'd walk outside. There's something about seeing a character in a world of your imagination live out situations that flood your mind daily. For me, it's always been a source of hope that life can be more than what has been handed to me. And I promise this isn't me discrediting nature. Mama Nature will always be our greatest teacher, and a lot of animation is just an exaggeration of her, honestly. But the inspiration I feel after watching a film like Inside Out or Luca will always be one of my favorite feelings. Seeing myself in a character surrounded by magic helped me to remember the magic that existed within my own world. And so instead of mindlessly watching any show, I took journeys with them. I'd cry, laugh, and hurt as if it were me floating away in a house lifted by 1,000 balloons. There's some things you simply can't get at school. There's honestly many things that schools leave out of our curriculums, things that are not just essential to our survival, but things that teach us how to thrive in this world. Cartoons were never just cartoons to me. They were quiet teachers, slipping me lessons about God, love, and myself in ways that school and grown-ups never could.
Really? You didn't leave behind anyone you cared about?
Well, I did have a girlfriend. May.
That gloomy girl who sighs a lot?
Yeah. Everyone in the Fire Nation thinks I'm a traitor. I couldn't drag her into it.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon.
That's right, buddy.
Where do I even start with this one? Avatar: The Last Airbender, a show about a kid who was destined to save the world from the flames of tyranny and bring peace to the nations. It's also a show about a kid who goes on a journey to learn the true meaning of honor. But it's also a show about realizing that everything isn't what it seems, and the most magical things in this world lies within ourselves. It's true that I've always been in tune with the spiritual realm, and it may be silly to say that a kid's TV show brought me even closer to knowing God. But it did. Whenever Aang found himself in a pickle and the people around him didn't have the answers, the creator showed us that he always had what he needed inside himself. The Avatar state was a direct link to his higher self, where he could be in oneness and connect to the divine thread that connects us all. In the show, that thread connected Aang to all the avatars that came before him, but in my eyes, that thread connected me to the all. It made me feel less alone in a world that didn't seem to think the way that I did. I came to understand that I carried a long line of ancestors and guides who continuously leave breadcrumbs in every moment that I feel lost. I really enjoyed exploring spirituality alongside Aang, and it's a big reason I started studying the chakra system and learning about ascension. I feel like our parents were taught that they had to go through X, Y, and Z in order to know God. It's like you had to jump through so many hoops just to be seen by the person who created you in his image. I'm honestly thankful that I watched shows like this that led me to ask questions, because I quickly learned that God was always there to listen. And when I paid attention, I could see how God used the tools within the universe that they created to give me the answers that I needed. I can honestly say one of my favorite lessons I've discovered through watching Avatar is that God is always within reach. I honestly had no clue that Zuko would be such an impactful character to me. Like, while Aang really helped me to explore my higher self, Zuko helped me to explore my earthly self. Like, when I seen his rage and when he would just first have his little tantrums, I'm like, not only was I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute, but I'm also like, I feel him, bro, because he went down that whole journey of really trying to prove himself to Fire Lord. I don't even want to say his name because I really don't like that man. But he spent so much time trying to prove his worth to him by capturing Aang, that he never even gained his own sense of self. And I could relate to that in a lot of ways, because I feel like I was trying to chase being, or just chase being this good girl, and chase getting good grades, and getting my advanced diploma, and just being what I felt like my family could be proud of. But I didn't even stop for a second to say, hey Shay, like, what would you actually feel proud to be doing? Like, what fuels your soul? Like, what makes you feel good and what makes you feel alive? And I never took the time to answer that, because I felt like my worth was so deeply tied to how other people perceive me, and a lot of my worth I tie to how I can be in service to other people. And so when I would fail to clean the house correctly, or show up as a good kid, it would genuinely just make me feel so shitty and feel so bad about myself that it would just turn into a lot of internalized anger. Like, I hated myself so much because I couldn't be what everybody else wanted me to be. And I think that shows up a lot in like Zuko's scar. Like, he legitimately hates the fact that him not being able to live up to his father's standards, like, is a reminder on his face every single day. And I don't know, I really felt for him. Like, for me, it was like the beginning of understanding like the duality to life. Like, you have Aang, this very like, I would guess like you could call Aang like more soft spoken, like just this more level headed character, and then you have Zuko, who is always popping off on somebody. I think as a kid it was good to see the balance of the two characters and start to recognize that within myself as well, because it really started to sow the seeds for me that I wasn't just this like one-dimensional person. Like, there were many sides to myself, and that I shouldn't be ashamed of my anger, even though it still took a long time for me to like fully grasp that I shouldn't be ashamed of my anger. But I do feel like watching Zuko go through his character arc and grow so much as the season went on, like, I genuinely, like, he grew the most out of any character. I love how they wrote him. Like, oh my, like, just literally perfection. I fucking love Zuko. I really, really do. I don't know, just watching him be so full of rage just validated every time I would go in my room and just scream into my fucking pillow. Like, it really validated those moments where I just felt like no one was seeing me, where I felt like no one could truly see me, like they were only seeing where I couldn't live up to the thing that I was trying so desperately to be. And it was just frustrating, bro. Like, I just wanted to fucking scream, Zuko spends all this time chasing this dream of capturing the Avatar and restoring his honor and, claiming his spot on the throne with his father. But whole time, his true destiny was to teach Aang firebending and fight alongside Aang against his father. And like we started seeing a whole different side of Zuko. He started being a little awkward. I'm like, okay, Zuko, like this is really you. Like, you are really here right now. You are not this numbed out, angry ass kid anymore. You are growing into being a man because you've actually stepped into your purpose and you're feeling purposeful in the work that you are doing. He felt purpose in teaching Aang how to firebend. Like, he loved being with the crew. He got to actually learn about himself and like really soak in the lessons that Uncle Iroh was trying to teach him since day one. And everything started to click. But when he was on that chase for a dream that wasn't even his, nothing was clicking because it wasn't supposed to click because he was in the wrong spot. He was in the wrong place. And I don't know, I just appreciated seeing that because, you know, for me, it really showed me that true honor comes from doing things that feeds your soul. And I'm going to go a little deeper into this in the last show that we'll be covering. So keep listening. I know y'all got short attention spans, but stay here, okay?
Attention, everyone.
Is baby okay?
Yes, but there were some complications.
No!
Yes, I'm afraid there wasn't enough gum to work with. So it appears Princess Bubblegum is now younger. She's 13 years old now.
Oh, dang it! Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
At a glance, Adventure Time is just another Cartoon Network show where there's something random happening every episode. You have this orphan human child living with different magical creatures doing everything you think to do while on shrooms. And somehow, Adventure Time has become one of the most impactful shows I've ever watched. I'll jam with Jake and the Bugs, I'll rewind and cry at the moment Finn lost his arm, and I will always be scared of that fucking deer. To be honest, it's kind of hard to pinpoint one lesson that Finn himself taught me. There were parts of myself reflected in many characters throughout the show. PB made me realize that, whoa, maybe I am a bit of a control freak, and maybe letting go won't cause everything to crumble, but it'll actually allow me to breathe a little easier, a little deeper, and with more purpose. I love the episode when she became a kid again because it reminded me that no matter how old I get, I always need to acknowledge that version of myself. I mean, little SHAE quite literally built me, and I'll always love her for that. I also love that Piddleton didn't just give Finn easy challenges that would be solved in a day and forgotten by the next episode. It made the show feel real, which in turn caused me to notice the intersections within my own life. As someone who didn't have a close relationship with their parents, my heart broke for Finn when he first met his dad. A child who always wanted to know why had finally found the only person who could give him an answer. And within that process, he committed a galactic crime, put people in danger, and literally lost a part of himself. Like, y'all don't understand how bad I want to slap Martin. Like, I love seeing Jake frown at him when he was trying to gaslight Finn into thinking that he didn't actually abandon him and Finn just got lost. Like, boy, don't make me come through that screen. Don't make me, because I will get someone to animate me real quick and put me in the show. But I digress. There was a point in my life where I felt lost and confused as to why the two people who were supposed to love me the most didn't. It made my love feel worthless, and like Finn, I started to question my purpose on this planet as a whole. But as I continued to watch the show and see him reconnect with the love that fueled his hero spirit, I began to see what could help me to reconnect with mine. Everyone isn't meant to be what we need, not even our parents. And it doesn't reflect our own worth or even our place in this world. So with that, I started to accept the kind of love that my parents could give and took them off of this weird pedestal I had them on, which allowed me to see them for who they truly were. Two humans who were just as confused as I was. Now, while all of the characters helped me to come to terms with growing up, I feel like the Ice King had a deeper impact. When I first started watching the show, I was honestly, I was annoyed with his character. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm like, why are you messing with these women? Like, leave people alone. Like, it's easy to kind of get annoyed with him. But then as the show progressed and we started to see more sides of him and got to know Simon, I really enjoy seeing the cast over time, you know, really accept Ice King for who he was and honor the fact that underneath this deranged man was actually a very smart guy with a lot of heart. There was just like really small things that Finn started to do to like cater to the Ice King's mind in the way that, you know, the Ice King thinks. It really helped me to understand what it's like to love someone with mental illness. And I began to learn a very important lesson that we aren't just our symptoms. As someone with mental illnesses and, you know, having family members that also has mental illnesses, like, I used to always just get frustrated, you know, because I'm like, why can't I think normally? Or why can't they just be normal? Like, why can't we just love each other in like a very normal way and interact in a very like normal way? Like, there was always this pressure on like normality and like what being normal looked like and what that was, you know, supposed to be for me. And like, I always felt like I needed to get towards that. And I used to suppress my ADHD so much because of this. Like, I swore up and down that I did not have ADHD. And it was also because I had a grandmother that was very in denial about me having ADHD. Even though literally the principal of my elementary schools told my grandma that she felt like I should get tested because like after the SOLs, I would always get done before everybody and I would crawl around the fucking floor, bro. Why was I crawling? Like, why was I crawling on the floor? Who fucking knows? Like, I must have just been bored. But yeah, they were like, you really need to get her tested. And she was like, no. They over here trying to say that SHAE has ADHD. She ain't got no ADHD. Bro, now I'm fucking 25 and I'm just getting diagnosed with ADHD maybe like 3 years ago because I had to take that initiative myself and, you know, finally start to build systems for myself that actually accommodate myself instead of trying to suppress that part of me. Like, I mean, growing up in school, like, I do feel like I found ways to regulate, but it was a very, I don't know, it wasn't in a nice way to myself. Like, I was just mean as fuck to me, like, internally. Like, I can't even really think about the ways that I was regulating, but it just wasn't very healthy. You know, I did get all of my work done for sure, but then after I got my work done, nobody else was getting their work done because I'm hyped up. Like, we're about to all turn up. And like, I was always disruptive. Like, I've always gotten like disruptive on like my report cards and shit. And you know, that was like my only phone call home was that my ass was talking too goddamn much. Like, I would get kicked out of the class for talking too much. And like, my teachers would always be like, you know, you're a leader, SHAE. People, you know, you get people hyped up. You know, you really have to be an example. And I'm like, I don't want to be an example. I want to be me. I want to have fun. I don't know. I just feel like being diagnosed would have like helped me a lot because I would have been spending my time like researching, like, what can I do? Like, I probably would have just gotten fucking a lot of fidget toys, or, you know, me and my teacher and my parent would have worked something out for me to do. Like, you know, it would have been something in place. And like, even my BPD, that was a very scary thing to be diagnosed with because I genuinely just felt fucking crazy. But like, learning like why, you know, you develop BPD and how it like affects like how you act in relationships and just how you like view people in general, it's just been very helpful. Like, I don't use it as an excuse to do X, Y, and Z, but I use it as a means to understand myself better and as, you know, a baseline to be like, okay, like, this is what we need to work on. And like, when I'm noticing a pattern, I can be like, okay, SHAE, this isn't even you talking. This is the trauma that you've experienced that has led to you having BPD that is like causing like this reaction. Like, I don't know, it's way easier for me to like recognize a pattern and like place a bridge right there so that I can get from this very conditioned survival way of behaving to a way that aligns more with me and that, you know, can serve me and the people around me. And I like seeing this in the Ice King. Like, I mean, he never really beat his mental illness, of course, because, like, you know, he was too far gone. But I guess just seeing the people, like, love him, and help him to not feel, you know, and to just, you know, play along with him in his world, like, was just nice, because it let me know that I could be lovable in my quote unquote crazy state, you know. And now I have people in my life that do love me despite me being difficult sometimes. Like, I can admit that I can be difficult sometimes, but the people that are in my life now, they still love me, and they're still willing to communicate with me and, like, figure out, like, how can we create systems that doesn't cause me to spiral, and, like, you know, just things that can actually help me. It feels good to be loved by people who make me feel normal without forcing me to be normal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I fuck with IK. Like, he's definitely one of my favorite characters in Adventure Time for sure. Let me know who your favorite Adventure Time character is.
昔は戦士だったんだよな。戦士ってのはいわゆる斧持って戦争をやって略奪して酒飲んでなんぼのもんじゃいガハのハってあれだろ。
Now, I've watched a lot of great anime: Attack on Titans, Parasite, Soul Eater, Fruit Basket, Hunter X, and so on and so forth. But in today's current climate, remembering Taurus say the words, "You have no enemies," gives me the sweetest kind of chills. This masterpiece called Vinland Saga helped me to grow the seeds I planted while watching Zuko grow as a character. It's hard to exactly explain what Vinland Saga is about. It's about war, it's about revenge, it's about Vikings, it's about bondage, it's about redemption, and many other themes. It's the show that taught me to face my shadow self. Thorfinn is the main character, and he spends most of his time in a very detached state after experiencing a very traumatic event at the hands of one man. And so, being filled with rage, Thorfinn swears that his sole purpose is to honor his father by getting revenge on this one man. However, in order to get revenge, he must get stronger and make sure no one else gets to this man before he can. And to do that, he must do this guy's bidding. So over time, we start to see that Thorfinn becomes a slave to his own grief that he refuses to sit with. Most of his moments are spent in a detached state, and when he finally does decide to feel, it's normally followed by rage. He completely ignores the guidance of his father and instead goes on his quote-unquote own path. We see him get stronger with each fight, but we never actually see him grow. Looking back on this, I recognized a pattern that a lot of us share with Thorfinn. I've met lots of people so consumed by pain that they simply become numb. And in that state of numbness, all they can do is stand still, because moving will require you to feel your legs, your feet, and accept that life goes on. Now, I do love that Thorfinn, this warrior who took so many lives on a quest for one, eventually did sit with himself. He actually faced all of the horrors he committed when he was just a shell of himself. He got to sit with that empty feeling of realizing that he never actually gave his life meaning beyond the pain someone else had given him. And that inspired me to get serious about shadow work. There's a quote by Carl Jung where he says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." There's something so beautiful about the intimacy that comes with facing the most disgusting parts of ourselves. I've done and said horrible things that I'll never be able to take back. I really had to get honest with myself and drop this whole good girl image I so desperately clung to. I began to understand the dual nature of the universe and release what I thought good and evil meant. It allowed me to stop suppressing parts of myself that I didn't deem as worthy of being seen. Giving them light actually allowed for those parts of me to grow into something beautiful, something that can serve me and the people around me. It's a constant process though. Like right now, after fully letting go of my good girl act, I'm working on not being too much of a bitch. Yes, I'm still kind, but I'm no longer nice to be convenient or to be perceived in a certain way. It can feel awkward to say, "Hey SHAE, you've been a bitch lately," but it's even more awkward when I ignore that part of myself and have a random explosion on someone after months of being numbed out and unheard. It's not so much about trying to change myself and undo my actions, but forgiving myself for not being the standard of perfection that my family once taught me I could be. So yeah, my newest shadow quality is that I'm a bitch, and I understand why I'm a bitch, and I love how empowered it makes me feel. Now, I'm not saying I'm out here cursing everyone out and being unnecessarily rude. No, I'm more honest now and direct in my communication. I'm okay with inconveniencing people to keep my peace. I don't force myself to be patient with foolishness. I'm just a bitch sometimes, but a loving bitch indeed. I'm honestly so happy that they gave Thorfinn such a wise father, because I feel like his quote that we have no enemies really pairs well with the shadow work aspect like of the show. Because if we zoom out and look at the political and economical state of the world, it's just how everybody operates nowadays in general. Like, I swear you cannot go online without someone trying to argue with you. Like, why are we so fucking angry? Like, okay, that's not even a real question. I know exactly why we're angry. But why are we each other's enemies? Why are we the cause of our anger? Like the individual. Like, we're mad at each other when we should be angry with these big corporations and our leaders that don't actually represent our needs but represent the needs of their pockets. But we choose to make an enemy out of each other because it's more convenient, because we're the first people that we see after we have thrown a fit and after we have been done wrong and we can't fucking pay our bills and we can't afford to get groceries. We take it out on each other because we're right there to take the blow. And I just love his quote that we don't have any enemies, because it reminds us to be compassionate to each other. It reminds us that being in that blind state of rage really makes you so easily controllable. Like, you are so easy to manipulate when you have no control over your own emotions, when you have no control over how you are viewing other people. We are all in this together. We are all trying to figure this out together. This is a team effort. It can be a team effort if we allow each other to be there for one another, if we allow each other to coexist with one another, instead of like always viewing each other as competition or like as just something to beat. It's like a scarcity mindset that we have, and it just sucks, bro, because again, it's hard to actually coexist with each other. It's hard to create collaboration and to innovate. It's hard to be innovative in the landscape that we are in, because everyone is so focused on like trying to one up the other person, or just trying to kick the other down so that they can climb up the ladder. It just sucks, bro. It really sucks. And I love the thought of me not having any enemies. Like, that has always been something that I have like tried to embody, and I feel like Taurus really put words to it. Because like, yes, I am a black woman, but y'all are not gonna fearmonger me into not like traveling the world. Like, yes, I have learned the hard way that like people are racist still. Like, there is no running away from that completely. But even still, like, I'm not going to automatically assume that, like, when I step out of my home, I'm going to be met with racism, or I'm going to be met with someone trying to tear me down. Or, if I try to go for a job, like, they aren't going to want to hire me just because I'm black and I'm queer and I have colored hair. Like, no, I'm going to assume that these people are like genuinely going to hear me out. I know that I have a great personality, so I know that I can charm them, if anything else, and I can make them laugh. So like, I mean, like, why am I assuming the worst of everyone? You know what I'm saying? And I genuinely feel like that has been low-key getting me kind of far in life. Like, people appreciate the fact that I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, those people with good hearts, because I really do find people with great hearts. Like, of course, you're always going to run into a piece of shit. Like, that's that's unavoidable. But those people with good hearts that are still out there, like, they want people to give them a chance, bro. Like give me a chance to show you my heart, to show you that, you know what I'm saying, like, there are still good people left. And I know this can sound like the optimism talk from my last video, but I genuinely think that we need to love each other more. Like, it's really just that fucking simple. Like, I'm not your enemy. Like, if I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a white man, I don't care, like, what, I don't, all the things I don't care. Like, I am not your fucking enemy. Just be kind, okay? It's not going to be detrimental to your survival. I promise you that you can still be a kind person and thrive. You can still be a kind person and reach every single goal that you want to hit. I pinky promise. Like, seriously, I really do.
You're the prettiest hooker here.
Hey, I am not a hooker.
You're not?
No!
Great. Well, if you're not a hooker, and you're not a hooker, then where the hell are all the hookers?
So yeah, those silly little cartoons, they weren't just background noise while I ate cereal. They were teachers. When the lights went out, when the storms came, I didn't realize cartoons were handing me tools I could use for the rest of my life. Not just laughter, but wisdom. Not just distraction, but direction. These silly little shows raised me, and I think they raised a lot of us. If you got nothing else from this video, remember this. God is always within reach. True honor feeds the soul. Letting go won't cause the world to crumble. And maybe, just maybe, we really have no enemies. Now, it took me a second to figure out what I wanted to say in this video, so I hope you all could connect with what I had to share. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, if you made it this far, comment an orange emoji and an emoji that represents one of your favorite shows. Pretty please subscribe if you want to become a cutie, and share the video with someone who you think might enjoy. You can even hype the video now. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the first link in my description, or you can become a member of the channel. Shout out to Dougie for being our first channel member, where they'll get access to my unedited talks. You can also find the audio version of this down there, as well as a Google form where you can ask me questions, because I will be doing an Ask SHAE video pretty soon per request. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. I love you cuties, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
This is not real. It's just a dream. Please, please, wake up. Wake up. Wake